All right. Well, congratulations on the assignments. The work that is being done is really good. I know that it is at a very high speed, but we wanted to keep this within the 3 months. So really big congratulations to everyone who's putting in a lot of time and for following at this pace, because we have been taking you through quite a bit to make sure that on the whole everything makes sense. And we hope and we see also in the assignments that that clarity is starting to sink in. And so we're really, really happy about that. So please keep up the good work. Right at this time, we are certainly over half of the content. So everyone who has been able to follow up to this time, you should probably really be able to see and understand how linked data help us to analyze data and to also analyze data in held in different containers and therefore held under different control. We call that a federated architecture. So what we will do today is that we first of all go through a fair data point to see what this will look like in real life. And then Samson will, I'll try to keep it short, and then I will make sure that the 20 minutes is allocated for Samson to really discuss the technical deployment of the fair data point, and then 20 minutes for Rens, because Rens will then be able to demonstrate how this works in what we call a machine actionable format, how with a query you can work through the fair data point and then analyze within different containers the specific query that is being run. What is important to say as well is that, so having gone through the majority of the content, this last leg, the deployment of the fair data point, the creation of the access control, and the linking to the Allegro graph or to the linked data store, your store, that this is maybe less complicated to understand, but more time intensive. And it really requires collaboration in the sense that those that have the expertise from an ICT and network architecture side are really in the driving seat for the deployment of the fair data point. And we need the people like Philip Opayo, who are really experts in metadata about data sets, to really help guide around the library like archival like metadata that strengthen the findability. And then, of course, within the linked data stores, everyone who has been following as senior data stewards are capable now to annotate data, to create triples, to make sure that these can be investigated through SparkQL queries. So with that, I would say that from here on, everything changes from being more abstract into being more concrete, in being more hands-on. And in a way that is easier, because then you start seeing what this really means in practice. So what I wanted to do is share with you the fair data points that we have deployed at present. So here you see an index of fair data points. So this would show you how there is a kind of an indexing of fair data points. So we could imagine that we could in the future have a Vodan fair data point index, and that we have a fair data point there for Tangaza University, perhaps a fair data point for SORD, supported by the University of Equator. Equator University could have its own fair data point. We will have in the index the existing fair data point of Macquarie University, but we could also have the fair data point of, for instance, the researcher Rens Kivit or the researcher Daniel Tesfa. So the fair data points registry is shown here. How to set it up? The GitHub on the fair data team gives you all of the information on how to do that, and I will leave this to Samson because he will go through the GitHub tools that we have used to deploy the fair data point. So what I want to do is take you through the fair data point that was set up by Alia. I'm going to share as part of the documentation for today her video of how she did that. And at this time, you will also see that between the time that we did the video and today, a lot of additional work has been done. And this also shows that, you know, once the fair data point is deployed, it becomes quite easy to extend it. So in this case, the fair data point is the fair data point of Meta Rustenberg. You see the name here. And then, well, here you have all of the metadata that relate to Meta's research lab, which is the controlled human infection center. That is her research center. So here you find different metadata descriptors of this fair data point. Then if you go on from here, then the center, Rustenberg Center on Controlled Human Infections, has now published here different catalogs. And these catalogs, they relate to different studies. So in this catalog, there's the title. And if we go here, then we find a description of this catalog, and we find here information on the licenses, on the language, how the metadata can be read in RDF, in TTL, in JSON LD, and then this links through to the different data sets under this catalog. So logically, if I go back here and I go to this one, then I find here a description of this part of the study that has been carried out and the data sets related to this study. And then again, metadata about these studies, including, for instance, the taxonomy. So in this case, it is a cohort study. And here the ontology of this cohort study is identified and findable. So if I go back, then if I go back here to the first catalog, then also here you see the ontologies that relate to that specific data set. So again, here I've clicked the one of the cohort study, but then you would also find here the ontology of this one, the glossary that has been used. So this is going to the thesaurus of oboe. So, it's actually, sorry, it related to the class of adverse events, because this is a data set that links adverse events. And so all the information on that ontology is provided here. And so, well, you can click through the other taxonomy as well. Here you have the class of the infection. So all of these are critical in this describing this particular data set. It is this particular catalog. And then again, under the data sets, the ontologies are provided again. And so if you go into this data set, then we find here the distributions. In this case, there are 3 distributions. And again, the metadata about these distributions is provided. You also have here the contact point if you want to see more about this or know more about this data set. And now I should find the data sets that links to the, is this one? The COSI study. So in this data set, here you go to the access stipulations. But before I go there, I want to go back. And I want to show you here the landing page of the data distribution, which is depicted here in a dashboard, and which allows anyone who's interested in this data to see what this set contains of and whether this set is relevant for the particular query that any reuser would want to do. So here you have a lot of detail about all the relationships that are carried out in this particular study. So now if I return back on the fair data point, then to the distribution, then I was trying to see the access. Yeah, the access online. So now if I click here, then I'm not allowed, because in order to go to the granular metadata that describe each data instance in the data set, I need to have permission. And so in order to get permission, I would have to, in this case, I would have to write to Meta Rustenberg at this time to ask for permission. And this issue of the different types of permission that can be given, that is something that Rens will be speaking about. So in order to keep in the time, I am going to stop my sharing here.